Hi guys. Okay, so we're section 1.2, day 2. We're going to do two new graphs today. We're going to do a stem plot and we're going to do a histogram. So yesterday we did dot plots, pretty basic stuff, and we talked about how we describe the data. And now we're just going to do two new graphs, and then as always, we'll describe what we see. Okay, so this guy's who is taller or who's taller, males or females. A sample of 14-year-olds from the United Kingdom was randomly selected using the Census at School website. Here are the heights of the students in centimeters. Okay, so these are all 14-year-olds. We've got some males, we've got females. Just by looking at this, you can see that there's more females. So a stem plot, also called like a stem and leaf plot, is basically a way for you to break up the data without doing dots, but you're going to break it into two pieces, a stem and then the leaves. And the main thing here when you guys do this is that your leaf can only be one number. Okay, and so when you look at these numbers here, right, which are in centimeters, heights in centimeters, since the leaf can only be one number, we're going to make the stem the first two digits. Okay, and so it's kind of hard to explain without actually doing it. So let's just jump in here. As always, what I like to do, you guys, is I like to look through the data and find the smallest number. 151 looks like the smallest. And we're going to go up to 187. Seems like the highest. Okay, and so we're going to break this into stems and leaves, which sounds really weird, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to break it into the stem being the first two digits of the number, so 15 or 16 or 17 or 18, and the leaf just being the last digit. Okay, so I'm going to write down male. And when you guys do a stem and leaf plot, you want to use some type of straight edge. I'm just going to use the textbook because it's right here in front of me. So all I do is I just draw a straight line down. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to put the stems on the left. So we're going to start at 15. And when you guys do a stem and leaf plot or a stem plot, you can't leave any gaps. So we're going at 15. Remember, that's representative of all of these heights that start with 1, 5, so 150 something. And then we need to go in sequence 16 and 17 and 18. And those are what we call the stems. Okay, and then over here, we're going to do the leaf, which are just going to be the last digits. For instance, okay, we need to go in order. And so we start with the 15, and then we see the smallest. There's 154. Right? We said that 151 was the smallest, so I'm going to go right there. And thinking about that, right, my stem is 15, my leaf would just be 1. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little 1 there. And so that is representative, you guys, of the height, 151 centimeters. Then I keep going to all the 5s. There's a 9, there's a 7 and a 4. So if I go in order, I would want to do 154 next. So I put a 4 next. And then 157. And then 159. And that would be the last one in our 150s. Right? And so this is the beginning of our stem and leaf plot. Again, this line right here is representative of 4 different male heights. 151 centimeters, 154, 157, and 159. Okay, and again, your stem can be any length, but your leaf can only be that last digit. Okay, so now we'll go to the 6s. We've got quite a few of them, right? So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. And the smallest one looks to be, there's a 3, there's a 2. The smallest one looks to be 162. So I'll put a 2 there and I'll cross it out. Going up to 163. So I put a 3. Then I cross it out. 7 and 9, 5, 5. So I've got two 165s. So I would put 2 5s, crossing those out. Okay. And then what I would do is I'd come down here to the 7 and the 9. Okay, and then I go to my new stem of 17. 17, 17, 1, 2, 3, 4 of them, right? And the smallest would be, looks like we're going to go 4, 5, 6, and 7. And so I would write 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then on the 18 stem, I only have 2 digits, a 0 and a 3. Okay, and so what we've just done is we made an individual, right, stem plot for males. Okay, now we could do the same thing for female. And looking at this data, 152, I don't know that I see anything shorter than 152. So I'm going to go all the way from 152 to a max number of, there's 69. Are there any 170s? No, so it looks like 169 is the greatest number there. Okay, and so the female is going to be interesting because if you draw on your same line here, you can see that we're only going to have a stem of 15 and then it maxes out at 16. Okay, and so if you write this down, we're going to have lots of string of numbers here because we only have 2 stems, and we'll talk about how we could fix that if we wanted to and do it a different way. But for now, let's just keep it the same. So we've got, let's do all the 150s, which is kind of hard to see. So maybe some techniques here. You could circle all the 150s so you don't lose track of them. So if you circle them all first, you're sure that you have all the 15s. I think we're good. And then we can look at the last leaf number. So we have a 2, a 3, 2 is still the lowest, 2 is still lower, 2 is still lower. So we know 152 is the lowest. And then I think we had a 153 and a 153. So we have 2 3s. Okay, and then what comes next? We've got 8s, 9. There's a 7. So I'm going to put a 7 next. And then I've got an 8, 8, 8. So 3 8s. 1, 2, 3 8s. And then I've got a 159 to end it. Okay, and then all the ones that aren't circled are obviously the 16. So I've got a 0 there. So I've got a 0, another 0. So 2 zeros. So 0 and 0. That takes care of the 160s. Do we have any 161s? There's a 161. So I'm going to put a 1 and cross that out. 162s, doesn't look like it. 163, I've got 1, 2 of them. So I've got 2 3s. 163 and 163. There's a 4. So I've got a 4. And then I've got 5, 5. So 2 5s. And then I've got 6, 6. 2 6s. And then are there any 7s? I've got a 7 right there. And there's an 8. And I think I got them all here. 2 9s. And we're good. Okay, so what we've done is we have done a male individual stem plot and a female stem plot. Okay, what we always want to do with these, you guys, is we want to do a key. Okay, and our key would just be to pick any number you want, like how about 1, 5, and then a 3, right? You would say this equals 153 centimeters so that someone could read your graph. So now, for instance, as I read through this, I know that this represents 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 different individual female heights. 160 centimeters, 160 centimeters, 161, and so forth. Okay? All right, so technically we could do what's called a back-to-back stem plot. And so back to back. What you do is it's real similar. We already have all of our data here, so it's not nearly going to take us as long. So we just draw 2 bars. Okay, and what we do is we put the numbers inside, and you have to make sure and have all the numbers for everyone. So here I would do 15 and 16 and 17 and 18. And maybe on this side I will do female, and on this side I will do male. Okay, so if I do my females, I can just recopy. It was 2, 3, 3, 7, 8, 8, 8, 9. 0, 0, 1, 3, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9. I will continue this video in just 1 second. I'll have to post two of them.